Hello and good afternoon, everyone. I wish you all a happy new year. It is so nice to see you all here. We are always so grateful for your participation in our events, and I am really excited to having you all participate in this session. And I am already seeing a lot of engagement in the chat. My name is Sana Rehmat, and I am the Faculty Outreach Advisor at XtremeLabs. With me is Mr. Mori Ghazavi. He is the Chief Training Officer at XtremeLabs, and also he is the Director at XtremeLabs. And also with us is Miss Judy Zhang. She is the Product Director at XtremeLabs. We are really excited to be hosting this MCT Meetup in January. Today, I'm so glad to be introducing Mr. Chintan Patel as our co host for this month's MCT Meetup. He is a Microsoft certified trainer, Microsoft Office specialist expert, and master instructor. Along with that, he is also a CompTIA certified technical trainer based in Benoni, South Africa. He is the MCT Trainer Regional Lead for Southern Africa since 2020. He specializes in bespoke training, consulting, and advisory for Microsoft Office, Microsoft 365 apps and services, specifically for end business users. He advocates for the MCT program since 2020. Periodically, he speaks on behalf of Microsoft Worldwide Learning at MCT related events, as well as providing his insights and contributions on relevant social media platforms and the MCT support forums. His efforts have been really phenomenal in making this event a complete success. Without any further ado, I would like to hand over this session to him. Please help me welcome him. Thank you so much, Chintan, for being here today.
Great. Thank you very much, Sana, for that lovely introduction. Welcome, everybody, to the session hosted by XtremeLabs, which I'm very much grateful for, on being a Microsoft certified trainer in 2023 and beyond, I suppose. My name is Chintan Patel, and what we're going to be seeing in this particular session, where we are going to identify why should we be a Microsoft certified trainer. The audience we have today is comprising of a variety of existing MCTs, prospective trainers that like to become a Microsoft certified trainer, or you may be just here for some information for somebody else. We're going to go through in a moment what we're going to be talking about today. Just some housekeeping rules for this particular session. You may, through the Teams options, switch on transcription or rather captioned services. This particular session is being recorded and will be up on YouTube as well. Please feel free to use the chat for any questions you may have, and they will be answered at the end at the Q&A session. We may possibly have an opportunity for you to switch on your microphone at the end and ask a question as well. My microphone will be on all the time, obviously, and my video will be on too. You may see me glancing left, right, up, and down. I have 3 screens in front of me, so if I'm not looking at the camera all the time, I'm not ignoring you. Right. So welcome everybody to this particular session. Just look at the agenda today. We have the MCT program that I'm going to be talking about. This is going to be a little bit of a different session compared to some of the previous MCT meetup sessions that have been done by some of my colleagues on the XtremeLabs, hosted by XtremeLabs, that is, where I'm going to be talking more about when we're becoming a Microsoft certified trainer. What is the big responsibility we have? What contributions can we make towards the program and to the world? Obviously, looking at some of the MCT benefits, some value added services as well that we're going to see that may assist in your journey in becoming a successful trainer. Something that can be revenue adding or just really sharing great knowledge with everybody. And then obviously we'll have the Q&A session as well at the end. Just a little bit about me, which Sana already mentioned. I do do a lot of training. I'm a consultant. I do a lot of speaking. If you have maybe noticed, I am the moderator for the MCT network on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. And my colleague Tiago Costa assists me in moderating that particular forum. So we do try and assist as many existing MCTs as we can, and as well as prospective MCTs. And we have a variety of people in there. We have learning partners. We have all sorts of companies talking about all sorts of things regarding Microsoft training, and we do our best to assist. Right. In a moment, I will be sharing a link to all these different places if you are not part of these particular networks as yet. My contact details on the screen if you do want to get a hold of me afterwards to engage. This particular session is attended by quite a number of people. Just to give you some statistics about this particular event, when I sent out this particular invite, I did register this particular event invite behind a link, a URL shortening service, and I got to see over 1,500 unique clicks, 600 registrations or so from 111 countries, which is really, really fascinating. And I thank you. Thank you for coming through today to hear more about the MCT program. As far as I understand, this is probably the biggest in terms of attendance for an XtremeLabs hosted event from the MCT Meetup perspective. And I do hope that I'm able to provide all the necessary information for you, for existing MCTs, for prospective MCTs, especially the prospective ones, so we can actually join the program and see what it's really all about. All the links in this specific session will be available at that link displayed on the screen. What I'll also do is I'll place that particular link in the chat right away. And so you'll be able to access every single link that is currently on this particular presentation. The QR code is there. And let's make this particular session quite viral. All right, if you want to use social media, I have included all the hashtags on the screen as well, which I will be sharing in the chat as well. If you'd like to participate, make it known to the world what we are attending today. All right, what we are going to move on with is also looking at the previous sessions, right? If you would like to have a look at the previous sessions that have been done by my fellow MCT colleagues, please do look at them, right? Because there's a lot of content that has been repeated across these videos. I'm not going to be focusing on the same content, hence I'm referring you to these links. It's very important that you look at these past videos. Some of my colleagues like Armando, Tiago, CA Callahan have been talking a lot about the MCT program. Do visit these particular links, have a look at the videos where they go into a lot deeper content, right, about the MCT program itself. Not to say that I won't be going into any deeper content, but they had their own content that they wanted to present, and it's important that we do visit them as well. So what are we looking at first is the MCT program itself, right? We are here to learn maybe about the MCT program. We've heard a lot about it from the internet. We've heard a lot about it from colleagues, from training companies. And what I'm going to aim to do is to make this a presentation about more for those individuals that are currently not MCTs, and hopefully it encourages you to possibly become one. For those who are already MCTs, maybe you can assist us in the chat itself by providing some answers to some common questions people may have. Maybe provide your views as well on something. Right? Let's get a discussion going. There's lots of topics right now around the Microsoft Certified Trainer Program. If you're an existing MCT, you might have seen a lot of announcements lately, especially late last year. And we are going to be talking a little bit about that, getting some questions answered, as well as possibly learning some new things as well. So the MCT program, what really is it when we talk about it? It is a certification, first of all, that you are earning. A Microsoft Certified Trainer certification qualifies you to train Microsoft technical courses. By obtaining the certification, you are able to officially disseminate information about Microsoft's products and services through rigorous training programs provided by Microsoft Learning partners. You could do this on your own. And we have a lot of content available already from Microsoft itself through the Microsoft Learn platform. So I'll be talking about the Microsoft Learn platform in a moment, but essentially you are able to officially disseminate this information in the form of instructor-led training sessions, virtual instructor-led training sessions as well. You can operate as a freelancer by doing this on your own. You can work on behalf of another Microsoft learning partner. And when I say a learning partner, we're talking about a training company that has partnered with Microsoft, right, in order to offer Microsoft courses. So you can train on behalf of one, right? You can also probably be part of some corporate where you are providing training internally. You may be also providing training sometimes externally. You could be part of an educational institute and also disseminating the knowledge to the learners, the students in this particular tertiary education, possibly externally too. And there's so many different platforms on which we can provide this knowledge on. With this pandemic, it brought about many changes in the way we are producing content, showing this content. Some countries are back to normal in person. I can say for myself, where I'm in South Africa right now, we're pretty much gone back to giving courses in person. There is sometimes a blended learning experience where there are some people in person, some people online. There are sessions that where it's completely online, but it's also opened up the world where Microsoft learning partners across the world have been contacting Microsoft certified trainers across the globe. It was there already, but the pandemic sort of accelerated that to quite an extent, right? And so there are opportunities across the world. The reason why I'm stating this, I've had some questions coming through to me from these social media networking sites like the MCT network, where a common question was, can I teach overseas if I am in my own country? And well, yes, you can. Provided your country's laws allow it, provided you are able to produce that particular content, display the content, you have the equipment, you have the means, and why not, right? So you can definitely go ahead and do that, right? So it is a way for us to share the knowledge and obviously prosper in this particular field. When we are looking at becoming Microsoft Certified Trainer, in the link that I shared earlier, we will find a URL that allows us to see how do we become a Microsoft Certified Trainer. I get very frequent questions as well around how to become this particular trainer, and we will see that in this URL that I have shared to become one, it will talk about certain prerequisites. It will obviously talk about a lot of benefits. And what I'm going to do temporarily is I'm going to just switch to a certain screen that allows us to see what some of these prerequisites are going to be like. All right, so I'm just going to switch to this browser window here, and we start off by looking at the entry requirements. Right, so these particular entry requirements are quite particular for the Microsoft Certified Trainer program. First of all, which is something that you may already have, or maybe easy to obtain, is the certification itself in a Microsoft course, right, or a Microsoft certification around a certain program. And you'll see a very long list here of a variety of programs available. Right at the bottom, for those colleagues of mine who are training business users, end users, right? Unfortunately, I'd say unfortunately, as of April the 1st, 2022, you can no longer become a Microsoft certified trainer via the Microsoft Office Specialist route. For those who don't know what that really means, is that prior to that date, you could actually get a certification in an Excel program, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Outlook, a combination of these. And it was really easy to enter the Microsoft Certified Trainer program. These particular requirements are changing very frequently. This is to ensure that we have quality Microsoft certified trainers being produced, and that we are able to provide trainers that can provide specific training in some tracks or some programs where there is a real need. Right, so a lot of people have become trainers just to join the program to access benefits. Some really just want to train, right? But it's not easy to try and pass some of these, especially if you're a business or an end user, right? So do get in touch with me, right? Do get in touch with me if you are an existing business or end user and you see some of these certifications, they seem very overwhelming. What route could you possibly take to get yourself introduced to some of the Microsoft technologies, right? And it's really around what are your strengths in some of the existing applications and trying to find a match for these. And so we need to have at least one certification in these specific programs. The next thing is we need to demonstrate instructional skills. And that's quite a hot topic right now in the Microsoft Certified Trainer program. For those who of you are existing trainers, you might have seen from previous town hall meetings, through discussion, through the forums, that some of these particular instructional skills certifications may no longer exist in the future. One of them being the CompTIA CTT Plus. It is actually being retired. It has been chosen. The date that has been chosen will be the end of March or so. I'm not sure if this is going to be extended or not. I don't have that information, but this is quite a blow to a lot of countries. I can talk on behalf of South Africa. I can talk on behalf of Africa too, maybe certain Asian countries, that CompTIA CTT Plus was really one of the best in the industry to provide instructional skills. It is a requirement. What is instructional skills? It is a qualification to show you can teach, right? It doesn't necessarily mean for IT programs, right? CompTIA CTT Plus was vendor neutral. You could really use that to teach anything. It was predominantly for IT programs, right? But there's another set of programs available that one may want to actually go through to get yourself that particular certification, right? I can recommend some such as the MCT, which is quite a popular one in Europe. We also have a North African chapter for that. We also have the Learning and Performance Institute Trainer Performance Monitoring and Assessment, the TPMA, which is quite a popular one also in the Northern Hemisphere. I have two of my MCT regional lead colleagues that are offering the MCT ISC. Do consider that, right? If you are in the United States or across the board, really. These are really some rigorous instructional skill programs that give you the necessary skill set to be able to teach Microsoft courses. Right? So you need to have a certification, an existing certification in one of these applications, as well as this instructional skill certification. And then you can begin the process in enrolling, right? And this particular website, which I have shared in the links, will tell you step by step on how to really go about registering or enrolling to become a Microsoft Certified Trainer. So moving on to what else I'd like to talk about is the MCT Program Agreement. Right now, I'm focusing a lot on the program agreement, or why is it really a point in this particular MCT program, is that I mentioned earlier that some people become trainers just to reap the benefits, or they try to do the minimum required, right, and just stay within the program. Some people legitimately stay in the program. They do their regular training, which is completely acceptable, right, which is the way to go, right? But then we might find that there will be a handful not actually adhering to the MCT program agreement, right? It is something you must read. It is on that website, Become a Microsoft Certified Trainer. Right. The reason why I'm emphasizing this is that it tells you what you are allowed to do as a trainer and what you are not allowed to do. We have sometimes people coming in our inboxes telling me that we don't have access to this particular website anymore. I've lost access somewhere. I've now been banned or been kicked out, all sorts of things, right? And a lot of these could, and I would not say it will be, right? It could possibly be that something could have been broken, right? Maybe an MCT has broken one of the rules in the MCT program, right? And we could not say, well, we don't know really what it could be, right? But we've received a general message from Microsoft Worldwide Learning that do make sure that you adhere to the rules set out. Do not abuse benefits that are provided to you. Right? Make sure that you follow these specific rules. This particular PDF that is shared on the Become a Microsoft Certified Trainer link goes into extensive detail, a 19-page document, which I do encourage everybody to read. What are you allowed to do? What you are not allowed to do, right? Following this, and being part of the program ensures that you are following whatever the MCT program requires you to do, right? And everybody's happy after that, right? So do focus on that. There are certain limitations for certain countries. It goes into very, very great detail what you can and what you can't do. If you do need some assistance in understanding this particular agreement, do get in touch with me. Another concept is the renewal part, right? So there's two portions to this. It's the MCT renewal and then renewal for your Microsoft certifications themselves. Let's talk about the MCT renewal. The certification lasts for a year, the Microsoft Certified Trainer certification. In order for you to renew the certification, you have to teach at present at least one class a year. How is that class recorded for the purposes of MCT renewal? You have to submit a survey, an evaluation from a complete class. And you have to use a very specific platform called Metrics That Matter, which I'll talk more about in the MCT benefits section. So you need to really make sure you have captured evaluations. This particular application, MTM or Metrics That Matter, is linked to your Microsoft certification profile, right? And it will automatically pull through the classes you have completed. Right? And if you have met this requirement of at least one class, then your renewal will take place and you'll be an MCT for another year. Do note, though, that this particular MTM requirement can change. Right? So we don't know anything yet, but we do always want to see that the MCT program remains a quality program. So we might find that changes may come about in terms of meeting certain performance requirements. right? So you might need to meet a certain score in the future. You might have to perform at a really high level to ensure that you remain relevant in the Microsoft Certified Trainer Program, right? So do read up the documentation. I provided the links on making sure that you are reaching the necessary performance levels, right? Or make sure that you at least do one class, which is the current requirement at present. So that's from the MCT renewal. And if you forget about renewing, right, then you'd have to reapply as an MCT. So you do get a 90-day window in order to renew. You'll get an automatic reminder from Microsoft Worldwide Learning telling you it's due for your renewal to take place. Capture your class and you'll be renewed quite instantly. All right. From the Microsoft certification perspective, right, Microsoft have for almost almost quite a while right now, allows you to renew your certification free of charge through a very specific renewal process. What does this mean here is that in order for our skills to be relevant, right, certain certifications, probably all of them except for the Microsoft fundamental certifications, you have a 3-year window in which the certification remains valid. After 3 years or so, you might have to renew. It might be 1 year, right? It's you have to see per certification what are some of the requirements. And so what you do, what you need to do is you'll be prompted by Microsoft Worldwide Learning via email that it is now time for you to renew your certification. Right? Renewal is very important so your skills remain valid and your certification remains valid as well. The advantage of renewing is that it's free of charge. Right? In the past, when a certification expired, right, you had to go and pay the full exam fee to go and renew. Right now, any renewal that you have to do is free of charge. Right. You also get a 6-month renew window. Right. So you'll be eligible to renew the certification 6 months prior to the expiry date. Right. They're also short and they're not actually proctored. Right? So you're not going to get that environment where somebody's watching you. Right. You can do it as many times as you like. It is also open book, right? So you can keep whatever you'd like with you, right? Obviously, if you are renewing, then you may already know the content quite well, and the renewal is quite straightforward for you. You might have to probably read up certain information, and then you're able to submit this renewal, and then your certification validity period extends further. I have shared a link in the link above where you can read more information about this. It is really, really advised that you go and look at the renewal process. If you're an existing MCT, especially, please do and think about using this renewal process, right? Don't let your certification lapse, right? Keep it relevant. Keep your skills relevant. You may not know if you need these skills at a later point for the next job, for the next teaching job, consulting job, whatever it is, whatever job it is. You do want to always make sure those skills are always going to remain valid. Right, and I have shared a short URL on the presentation on how to become an MCT. Right, that particular link is also available in the link that I shared earlier. So what is your responsibility? I talked a little bit about the program itself. What is the responsibility as an MCT? When you have now become an MCT, you are the subject matter expert. You are considered that particular expert, right? Disseminate your knowledge appropriately. Thoroughly research the content you want to present and prepare well. For existing MCTs, you might have seen before that you had a wonderful, or you still have a wonderful learning download center. It packed a lot of resources. Some of us missed the handbook that was there previously. We have presentation slides available to use, right? As we go through various checks to ensure that the program remains relevant and we have a high quality of MCTs, certain changes have been coming about. So you now need to make use of Microsoft Learn as the official courseware. That is for those individuals who are possibly thinking about becoming a Microsoft certified trainer, is that the courseware is now available free of charge on Microsoft's website, Microsoft Learn, right? That is. So MCTs would use that content to teach as a complement, right, for students. It is also your responsibility to prepare more information, right? There's two probably types of ways a learner would be looking at earning a certification. They will go through the self-paced method where Microsoft Learn exists. They will go through the instructor-led or the virtual instructor-led, and that's where the MCT is used. A common question was, well, if Learn came about, what is the relevance of an MCT? Where do we really fit in now? Right? Somebody can just go ahead and learn all the content and Learn, and where do we really fit in? There will always be a need by a certain type of audience where personal interaction is a must, where we would like to get further insights. We need that one-on-one attention, right? And that's where the MCT still plays a valid role. And it's also probably country specific. I can't speak on behalf of other countries, but I can definitely speak on behalf of South Africa, is that we are still a nation where we prefer in person and we need that personal interaction. We have all our own sorts of issues where we do still need to go ahead with teaching in person in the classroom compared to virtual. And virtual is still something that remains valid, right? But we do want to be able to talk to somebody. Not everybody would be used for asking questions in a forum. Not everybody would be used to looking at certain videos and then emailing questions afterwards, getting them answered. Right? So that personal interaction is a must. And you'll find that certain trainers have a very specific way of teaching content. Some may even create their own content. Right? So we are still relevant. Right? In this day and age, from 2023, we are still relevant as an MCT. Right? And if you are able to distinguish yourself quite well, if you are able to find that niche of where what you can do, right, you will prosper quite well. Right. Do also think about empowering yourself with additional skills needed for the training. I've sat in some MCTs classes. I've heard some feedback as well. Certain basic skills should really be covered if you're going to become a trainer or if you're an existing trainer. Some of the things I'm talking about is know how to use the programs that you're going to use for teaching, right? Microsoft Teams is the one that we most probably predominantly using. If you're using another platform, know it very well. Attend courses. We have a team certification. We have blogs. We have so many resources to identify how to use something, right? And through that process, you'll learn how to find your niche in something, to find your specialty, to be able to share that information in a unique way compared to another MCT. Right. Also, probably look at empowering yourself with certain technical skills. If you are going to be presenting in a physical environment, make sure you know how to plug in your cables from your laptop to the monitor or the TV screen or whatever projector. Know your environment, know your room very well, right? It's good that you have these skills to show that you are quite informed, that you're quite knowledgeable about this. People will look up to you. They can leave you be knowing that you can look after the environment very well with no support, with limited to no support required from other external parties. Right. That particular advice is coming from me from my technical support days when I used to be an IT support technician. I used to do this. I used to be that person setting up presentations for other lecturers in a tertiary educational institute environment, right? Setting it up for other trainers, setting it up for all sorts of people, right? So do think of empowering yourself in some of these skills. It will look really well. And on LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is probably a very popular platform where you can add your skills. You can take skills assessments to show what you can and what you can really do. And people will look at this and say, okay, you are able to do this, this, and this, and so we will possibly consider hiring you. And that comes to my next point, is to get yourself known, right? A lot of people become trainers, thinking about trainers, okay, but where do I start? Where's my audience? How do I get a relevant audience? Use social media, right? Use LinkedIn. Probably LinkedIn will be the #1 platform. I can confidently say that 99% of all my work comes from using LinkedIn. LinkedIn's algorithms are pretty powerful. And I use a free account. I don't even use a premium account. So get in touch with me if you'd like to know more how to do this. Network with others. Network with existing MCT colleagues. Get yourself known through conferences, through other platforms, right? Visit your local chamber of commerce, visit your local business hub in your country, in your city, in your county, wherever it may be. Get yourself known. If you need further help, I have a fellow MCT I can recommend. I have put her profile in the link as well that I shared earlier. She was a great help to me when I presented my very first topic at the MCT Summit in Switzerland last year, October. It was my first time to Switzerland. It was my first time in Europe, first time presenting internationally. And this fellow MCT, Terry, she really assisted me in making sure I present well and I had a good presentation. So if you think you need similar help, I have just mentioned her, so possibly she can help you too on a variety of issues. What is your contribution as an MCT? So responsibility and contribution might overlap, right? But there will be certain aspects where you are giving back to your community. It's all about community. You really want to make sure that you are sharing knowledge, you are empowering others. And one of the first things that I'd like to tell you to do is to get to know who is your MCT regional lead. This will be mostly for existing MCTs, right? If you're a prospective MCT or you're thinking of becoming one, right? The MCT regional lead is that person that has been appointed to be the support person for all MCTs in a certain region, in a certain country. It's not necessarily an MCT regional lead per country, right? One has to apply for this. The membership or the term is every 2 years. So at the end of 2023, we will be going through MCT regional lead applications once again, where you can choose to become a regional lead. What are the responsibilities of the regional lead? More will be available at closer to the time, but just to give you an idea, is that you really want to be that person available for all your MCTs in your region for any assistance that they need, sharing knowledge, making sure that they have the resources that they need for training, right? And you're not going to obviously be that person giving everything. It's just more of an advisory role, right? A support role, mentoring role. It's also your responsibility as a regional lead to develop new MCTs, right? Make sure they're on the right path. We also, as an existing regional lead, we disseminate information from Microsoft Worldwide Learning to all MCTs around discount codes or opportunities, job opportunities, and every regional lead do their own thing around this, right? So do get in touch with your regional lead is very important. Can't stress that enough. To get that personal touch of a representative from Microsoft Worldwide Learning. We're not official employees, right, of Microsoft Worldwide Learning. This is a volunteer role. We're giving up our time for this, but we do really want to help you out, right? And if you don't know who your nearest regional lead is, for existing MCTs, go on to MCT Central, and there's a link there to find your nearest MCT regional lead. Get in touch with me. I'll find your nearest one. All right. If you're thinking of becoming a regional lead, get in touch with me. I'll give you some pointers on what you need to do. Your contribution. It seems like you lost me for a moment, but I'm back. So when you are participating as an MCT, make sure that you try and disseminate information, helping others, contributing back to the community through social media discussions. I've given you I've given you the links for the Facebook platform, the LinkedIn platform, the Twitter handle. Get engaged with some conversations around Microsoft products and services around the MCT program. Assist your MCT regional lead with webinars and conferences. Right, get in touch, find out what events are happening. Maybe you want to host an event, right, that you'd like to talk about a certain topic, right? Get in touch with your regional lead and they'll assist you very much in making sure that happens. Participate in blogs, participate in forums, right? I've shared some links as well above on how to get involved in certain forums, right? The tech community is also quite a big one outside the MCT program, but it is still a relevant forum that we can use here. How else can we contribute back as an MCT, right? We can possibly get into the initiative of writing practice questions, practice exam questions. MeasureUp.com is a leading provider of practice exam questions. Get in touch with the team, right? To get in touch with the persons that are at MeasureUp.com through their contact form, because they're always looking for subject matter experts to provide practice exam questions for all sorts of individuals doing some Microsoft certifications, not necessarily MCTs. You can get yourself involved in writing books, being an author for something, co-authoring, going through video learning platforms. Some of my colleagues are already sharing a lot of video learning content through LinkedIn Learning, through Pluralsight, through a variety of others as well. So that's also another way to give back. Obviously prospering in that particular manner, but it's another medium for us to do the same. Right, and some of the benefits, which I just want to list, I'm not going to go into huge detail because what I'd like you to do is look at the previous sessions that we have, where it goes into greater detail with some of the MCT benefits, specifically by a colleague by the name of Tiago Costa. He has gone into great depth in providing details around the MCT benefits. And some of the benefits that we have just on the screen, we have MCT software and services, a variety of software available that you can use for training prep within your training sessions, the Learning Download Center for accessing content to use in your training sessions, 2 PowerPoint slides. There's helpful guides in making sure you are able to teach the content, telling you how to teach it, right? Change logs. You have exam discounts as well. If you become an MCT, you get 50% off all exams. During special promotions, 75% off. And you also get the ability to get a free Microsoft Office Specialist exam voucher, right? So Remember, I talked about empowering yourselves with certain skills in the previous slides. You probably want to make sure you have the relevant skills for PowerPoint, the relevant skills for Excel, for Word, for Outlook. We have certifications before that, and we get a free Microsoft Office Specialist exam voucher every year, one per year, that you can use to get that certification, to show the skills that you know that application really well, that you can add to your resume, you can add to LinkedIn. It's really helpful. You get discounts on practice tests from measureUp.com. You get discounts of content from the Microsoft Press Store in preparation for some of your training to empower yourself with certain skills. You get access to Microsoft Azure passes, right? You get access to a subscription from Microsoft Azure to use for training preparation only, right? To make sure that when you are delivering a course that requires a Microsoft Azure subscription, Microsoft Worldwide Learning will give you a subscription to use for training preparation, right? Not to be used in classroom delivery, but specifically for you when preparing for a class. You get free access to all Microsoft authorized lab hosters. For those who don't know what a lab is, for those new trainers wanting to becoming an MCT, a lab environment is a simulated environment where you can practice some of the practical elements of a Microsoft product or service. Whilst you may be disseminating information about these services, about these products, you do want to make sure that your learners, and especially yourself, is aware of how to actually use some of the products and services. And the best place to do it is in a simulated lab environment. You get access to an operating system, you get access to a variety of service, XtremeLabs being one of them, right? Get in touch with XtremeLabs and to find out how you can actually use their platform during your training deliveries, making sure that you are able to guide your students to ensure that they know how to use some of the products and services. Best to be done in a simulated lab environment. It doesn't really affect their host machine, doesn't really affect the machine they're working with. So something that you get access to when you are an MCT. And obviously, I did mention previously is that Metrics That Matter is available. It is an enterprise evaluation tool. This particular tool costs a lot of money outside. If you are an individual corporate or just someone on your own, right? You're saving thousands of dollars when you have MTM at your disposal as an MCT. It is a really fantastic program, in my opinion, that allows you to record your performance as an MCT. It allows you to record your performance for the actual course itself and all other factors that affect your training delivery. Right? So you record your classroom deliveries, the proof to show that you've done this through Metrics That Matter. And that will be used when you are renewing your Microsoft Certified Trainer certification. Right, some value added services just to really wrap up. So the journey of an MCT doesn't really end at training, right? You become a subject matter expert in something. You probably want to look at other revenue streams. You want to find other ways of assisting your communities. Get yourself into consulting, get yourself in setting up environments, being the support person for an organization. Become a Microsoft Learning Partner as a freelance MCT, right? And this has been gaining a lot of momentum in the last few years or so, especially during the pandemic. And if you are a freelance Microsoft certified trainer, you can become a Microsoft Learning Partner. That is a training organization authorized to provide Microsoft courses and certification. What exactly are you getting when you're becoming a learning partner? First of all, it's free. Previously, there was a charge that you had to really pay for. Now it is free of charge, right? Anyone can become a Microsoft Learning Partner. The only thing you pay for is if you want the benefits, right? So certain benefits will be available to you once you become a learning partner. That is the action-packed learning partner, the very first stage, right? If you don't need the benefits, you can still operate as a learning partner by procuring labs from different lab hosters, right? XtremeLabs being one of them. You can purchase exam vouchers, Microsoft exam vouchers to be used for exam taking, and practice tests from measureUp.com. And you can then resell these to your customers as well as an extra revenue stream, and as part of the greater learning journey, right? That you are the trainer, you are the Microsoft learning partner, right? And you can take them from start to finish with all of these different products and services available. If you are interested, I've shared a link earlier. You can also get in touch with me and I can give you more information on that too. You can also become a Pearson VUE authorized testing center, right? Once you become a Microsoft Learning Partner. I've shared a link as well where you can visit for that. And something which I'm doing quite a lot is being a Certiport authorized testing center. Certiport is a division of Pearson where they provide certifications in a variety of programs across a number of vendors. But from a Microsoft perspective, if you want to provide training and certification and exams on Microsoft Office specialist courses for the Microsoft Certified Educator programs, as well as for the Microsoft Fundamentals certifications, then you can become a Certiport authorized testing center that allows you to get prospective students to purchase courseware from you for some of those programs. You can sell exam vouchers. You can even become a proctor, and you can proctor certain of these exams as well, and that's a great revenue stream, and it's a great part of the journey from, again, start to finish. You taught the student about the content, and you're going to be the same person that will be proctoring. Obviously, making sure that there are measures in place for the proctoring side of things, but it's a fairly simple and easy to follow process. Right, so that's all I can share regarding the journey of the MCT. I do encourage everybody to go through some of the links that I've shared. The time is now available for some question and answers. We might have a few minutes for that. But otherwise, thank you for attending the session. Do note that we have some previous XtremeLab MCT sessions, the links on the screen, and do get in touch with me if you'd like to know more information about the MCT program, or if you just would like to know about anything around some of the content that I shared over here. Thank you.